What is going on, everybody? We are once again doing something very different. It's the middle of the season now as far as turkeys go, and man, those game lands I've been going to lately have just died. I mean, I haven't heard a gobble. I think I've heard 3 gobbles in 7 days' time that I've been out. So it is getting rough. So I decided to scope out some new game lands to see if maybe I was putting too much pressure on those birds and maybe they moved out of the area, or to see if they're just henned up and they're not calling. But I decided to come scout new game lands, and I noticed there was a fair amount of water on these game lands. So today we have brought the fly rod. We left the hunting gear at home. This is mostly just a scouting trip, but we have brought the fishing gear. I'm going to walk these creeks. I'm going to check the banks for tracks. I'm going to check the woods around it for scratches. And I'm going to check the water for some wild brookies. So, without any further ado, let's get into it.
Oh, yes indeed, yes indeed. It is about time I get back on the fly rod. And this is looking particularly fishable. I mean, it's right off the side of the road on these game lands. So like, I seen some of these spots in here. And I said to myself, Self, I'll bet you there's some trout down in there. So I'm just gonna shorten up my lead a little bit here, because it is not deep. It's been hot and sunny for the last week or so. So the water levels are down quite a bit. And off the bat, we are living up to our hype. Straight into a branch. I'm gonna have to watch where I step, because I don't know what kind of reptilian wildlife's up here as far as snakes and whatnot. Oh! And I'm falling in. Here we go. Alright, starting it off with an absolute ripper. Much better. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's try and get on some fish now, huh? I've only got about 2 hours here, but I figured I'd come out, play around a little bit. There's somebody's shoe down there. It's really just a good excuse to get out. I've been sitting in the house editing for the last 3 days. I figure this is as good an excuse as any to get out and get away from that computer. I can't believe there ain't trout down in here. Not one trout is hungry down here. That's crazy. Well, we've come across our first signs of life. Unfortunately, it's the wrong species. We got deer tracks all through here. But I was just working my way down to that spot there, because I think that looks pretty good. Pick you up when I get down there. Okay, we have made it down. Get the dust off the GoPro here. A lot of dust and pollen, which is always fun. Keeping our eyes out for just about anything at this point. Turkey tracks, mushrooms, snakes, fish. Let's get up over these logs here. Oh. Make sure there's no copperheads down there before I step. Because let me tell you, in this stuff, you will never see them. Oh, I just spooked a little something. Whether it was a trout or a chub or one of the many random species of native stream fish. Okay, well I know what I want to do here. There it is. It's doing it. The hot sun might be keeping their mouths shut for the moment. Kind of use the creek behind my house as a gauge of how fish are going to react out in nearby streams, because I do have wild brookies in the stream behind my house. But that stream was in the shade. Oh, but they were going crazy. There was a fresh hatch of mosquitoes or something. Hey, we're going ballistic on them. So I figured the public land trout would be doing the same thing. But I didn't take the sun into account. Waddle on down here a little bit further and then I'll circle back to the truck. Drive a little further in. The stream parallels the road most of the way through these game lands. Figured that'd be loose. So worst case Ontario, we can just hop that road, drive to a new place that looks promising. Alright, so I saw this, oh boy, saw this from the road. I don't know, I can't see the water itself, but the backdrop looks really cool. So I have to go check it out up close and personal like. Oh wow. You guys can't see it yet. Once I get up over this ridge. Oh yeah. Oh, I knew I had to check this out in person. Alright, I'm going to try to get down here without kicking rocks into the water. One downside I see, or more appropriately don't see, is any fish. But this is a very deep hole and it would not surprise me if they're just down deep enough to where I can't see. What a beautiful spot. Man, if I could catch one here, my day would be made. The water running out of the cliffs. Little waterfall. Beautiful deep hole. You just can't ask for much better than that. I never knew this was back here. I've lived 10 minutes from this my entire life. I never knew it was here. Well, that was a fish. I don't know what kind of fish. But it was a fish. That's a trout. 100% that's a trout. I just saw him come up after that. There's a couple of them in here. Okay, folks. We might be in the money. If we ain't in the money, now we're in the tournament. The sun's fired up. Don't make me get crafty on you. I seen you flash on it. Well, you're gonna make me get crafty. There's another one up there too. That was a hit. I can watch him swim out and grab it. And when I set the hook, he ain't there. Okay, they're hitting up top. Time to play the game. I feel good about this one. Okay, I've tied on a little gray fella. So we're gonna find out if they're interested in hitting dries for me today. There he is. I figured he wanted it. Okay, let's get down here to the water so we can handle this guy nice and safe. Swing him on in. Wow. Goodness gracious. Look at him. Look at the colors on them. A beautiful, beautiful little brook trout. Barbless hook is not acting barbless. Let's get him back in the water for a second. Whoa. He ain't going anywhere. Get my rod out of the water. Okay. Let's get him unhooked the rest of the way now. Wow. Look at his colors. Fly is out. Fish is off. Fish is free. Thanks for playing, buddy. Oh, what a beautiful fish. I absolutely love playing with native brook trout. Whoops. They're not huge, but man, it really makes you appreciate the fish itself. The colors, the hardiness, the ability to survive. Just, I mean, these fish are out here day in, day out, water up, water down. Just eating bugs. Like, how? It's just incredible to me. Oh, and I figured he would come up to that fly. As hungry as he was. And now there's one over here, a little further upstream. I'm gonna have to get out further than that to get him, but he was also along that back wall. That's a good spot right there. Slipped under. Okay, I'm gonna creep my way along this bank here, supposedly stealthily. It wouldn't surprise me a bit if there were some bigger fish in here. I mean, this looks like a spot that should be stocked. Oh, there's a good hit. Wow. What an eat. Try and get down to a spot where I can land him. What a hit. Come on in, fella. Wow. Now hold still, hold still, hold still, hold still, hold still. Please, I beg of you. Please, thank you. Wow. Once again, if that ain't the prettiest fish you ever seen, I need to fish where you are. You good, bud? He's off. Okay, 0 out of 10 on the release, but man, what a fish. I love it. You just can't beat this. Fishing wild trout in Pennsylvania. And those are pretty good size for wild trout too. Certainly respectable. Okay. I think I'm going to give this one more cast and then we'll bump to another spot. We've now confirmed, well, we already heavily suspected, that there are native trout in this stream. It's very accessible too. Now the road's only open from April to June. At least open to vehicles. You can walk back here if you really want to carry all your stuff all this way, but I probably wouldn't, personally. But probably up till June when they shut that gate. Well, I could see me driving back here a couple times. Because this hole right here, this is one of them holes that'll hold trout all year. I mean, obviously, there's wild fish living in it currently. But this is a spot you can just keep right on coming back to. I bumped about 20 yards down from where I was just at, and then I saw this spot. And I think it just deserves, oh, a drift. And that was a hit. See? Now, I don't think he's the only one in there, so I'm not too broke up about missing him. But another great hit on the dry. Let me get out there a little bit further. It's the perfect drift. There's one up there hitting. They're chasing little brown moth. Okay. Okay. I just needed to hit and land and stay on top of the water. Try and just change position a little bit here to get a little more. Oh, what a hit. I think I got a little too much line out. What a hit. There it is. Back. Golly. Wow, I felt that in my line when he cracked off on that thing. It's time to get back to the truck. We're gonna have to move on. We're running out of daylight. Yeehaw. Okay, I stopped on this bridge because I saw the sand. And in the sand, we got turkey tracks. Now, I think this is a pretty small turkey, but it is a turkey. So they're in the area. I wanted to get out and check the sand. There's a lot of good tracks you can find in sand. And right there tells us that we are in fact in an area where it's possible to find turkeys. So let's keep on rolling down the road, see what we can find. Okay, well, I found a little pull-off. So say 23%. Holy crap, my battery's almost dead. Good thing I brought a spare. Anyway, I found a little pull-off. So I figured I'd take advantage and go see what the creek looks like over here. Once we get down to it, we'll find that out. 2 for 2 on absolutely beautiful spots that I just randomly pull off on public land and find. You're kidding me. This is incredible. Well, we could stand here and stare all day, or we could see what's biting. Now, I will say, that's what I was getting at. Tight quarters. Not great for casting. In here, please Check my hook, make sure it's all good. It is. Okay. Little tight quarters. But we can make it work. I may change to a nymph setup here, just so I don't have to try and dry this fly as much with all these limbs around. Well, it looks like mayflies is what they're snacking on, so maybe not. Wow, it is tight in here. Tight, 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 tight.
Well, that was a pretty fun day. Out blue lining some public land in Pennsylvania. Be cautious. Make sure there's nobody out turkey hunting right now, as it is that time of year till May 30th. But after that, get out, roam, find what's really in your game lands. Anyhow, if you like today's video, click the like button, make sure you subscribe, show your friends, and tell everybody you know. We're trying to get this channel to skyrocket. Anyway, I'm having a great time making videos, catching fish, and exploring the game lands that I've lived next to my entire life and never knew anything about. So, with that said, thanks again for watching. Click like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.